Hello, everyone. Hello. All right, everyone. Welcome to Reunion 2023. Yay. So, on behalf of our students, faculty, and staff of Holy Family, welcome back to your alma mater. It is so great to see so many smiling faces from so many different class years. I'm Julie Remford, the Director for Alumni and Parent Relations at Holy Family, proud graduate, class of 2010. And thank you for joining us for our Golden Alumni Society reception, where we honor our graduates of 50 years or more. We have a lot planned for you this afternoon, so we're going to go ahead and get started. It's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Ann Prisco, Holy Family University's 6th president. Dr. Prisco began her tenure in July of 2021, and with nearly 2 years into her presidency, she has provided transformational leadership. Dr. Prisco was clear upon her arrival that educational excellence was at the forefront of her priorities, and with the creation of exciting new academic programming, internships for every student in every major, a renewed focus on international study trips, and research opportunities for students, she's already made good on her promise. Dr. Prisco has led the charge on facilities enhancements and the expansion of Holy Family's footprint into Bucks County. And she's spearheaded educational partnerships designed to propel Holy Family's enrollment as well as opportunities for students. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ann Prisco.
Good afternoon, everyone, and look at these beautiful students. They look familiar? They were all you wanted up a few years back. You could have been up here, huh? Good afternoon. How wonderful it is for us to be together and gather. And I feel so privileged to have you be with us now to share in this journey of your alma mater. And I think the thing that's most important for me is that you feel proud of the university that you attended, that the experience you had, and it was Holy Family College back then, it is still thriving, and that the mission and the values that brought you here continue today. And that's what I hold in my heart. And as I always tell the sisters, you know, we stand on their shoulders, just as our students stand on your shoulders to ensure that we keep the mission and the values alive in every future generation, so that we will be here another 75 years, or what are we, almost 70 now, right? So we'll definitely be here another 70. I may not be here another 70, but other generations will be. So it's important that we continue that for them. You all look so wonderful. It's great to be together. And one of the things, you know, I'm an economist, so they love to give me factoids. They always say, give me factoids. So this is some remembrance to give you a sense of the way things were when you graduated in 1973. A new car cost, can you guess? $4,052. The price of gasoline, how much per gallon?
About
39. Somebody was close. And what about a dozen eggs?
15 cents.
Yeah, it wasn't 78 cents. And you know, but my husband and I was looking at this before, because believe it, I'm not that much younger than all of you. And so I was in high school, and I'm remembering we made $1.85 an hour. So when we were working as part-timers back then, $1.85 an hour was the minimum wage. So yeah, so you know, when you think about a car being $4,000, well, if you weren't even making $2 an hour, that was still a lot of money, right? So it's always, everything's relative, right, to what our costs are. So when we think about what you all faced as students, right, in the economy you were in and the technology challenges that were developing then, it just continues. So it may feel different, but what I always tell everyone is the students you were, we're still drawing students from this area. 95% of our students come from within 50 miles, and most of our students commute. So when you think about that, they're just a newer generation of you, right? They're younger, but the same. But the important thing to remember is we're of this community, and we're for the community, and we stay in these communities, so that you as alums set the stage, so that when people talk about Holy Family University, they talk about it with pride, and they look for our students, and you as alums look for our students because you know the quality of the education they received, because it's a whole person education, right? It's character, it's in addition to intellectually developing your mind and being astute mentally, it's also about developing the whole person. And that's still our goal, right, in this day and age. So when we think about, the things we're doing now, yes, we always have to think about what are the new academic programs, just like you did back then. What are the new sports? What are the things that we should be doing to propel this generation forward? And then, of course, I always talk about sacred space. So I want you to keep coming back, and every year, hopefully, you're going to look around and go, oh, wow, right? This is our space. Our students, most of them, if they're not living with us, they're spending 12 hours a day here with us. So we want them to feel comfortable, to feel that they can be here and learn and grow, as well as all of you come back and be proud of who we are. So if you're driving down Frankfurt Avenue and you go, yes, that's where I went to school. This was a great university, and it still is. So thank you all for being here. Your support matters so much to everything that we do. We're grateful to have you all. And I would like to, it's my personal pleasure actually, to introduce our 1970, class of 1970 graduate, who also just happened to join our Board of Trustees. She's a new trustee, Linda Reichley. Linda, would you come up and join us? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, goodness. No, I am just so excited to be here and have the opportunity to welcome you and to induct you into the Golden Alumni Society. Everyone looks terrific. What does it feel like to be back after so many years? Pretty exciting, huh? And the fun part is yet to come, hearing from our students as well as recent grads about what life is like here at Holy Family University. So it's really fun to hear, and we want to hear from you as well, have some questions to ask of them, and for you to relay what it was like when we were here and see the vast differences of opportunities. And I'm so excited that Dr. Prisco is here. She's bringing such incredible energy and vitality to the university with all of her ideas, all of her skills and experience, all of the new and exciting things that are happening here at the university. I was part of the alumni board of directors, and then just the other day I was appointed as a new trustee of the university. So I'm very excited to have an opportunity to provide some insights into the potential growth and development of the university. So when you graduated from Holy Family in 1973, you assumed lifelong responsibilities toward God, toward society, and to yourself. So for 50 years, class of 1973, you've upheld Holy Family's motto, Tenere Votis, I am bound by my responsibility. So regardless of where life took you from Holy Family College to now, you've represented your alma mater with distinction. And what we have built here at Holy Family, now University, is built in part upon all of your accomplishments, and we're very grateful. So on behalf of Holy Family University Alumni Association, I hereby declare all alumni from the class of 1973 as members of the Golden Alumni Society. Will the class of 1973 please rise? And everyone will please join me in congratulating everyone from the class of 1993 as new Golden Alumni Society members. Congratulations. You may sit down. Thank you for being wonderful. 73, yes, 73. Did I say so? 93, oh, 73. So sorry. Thank you.
I'll take those years.
Okay. I did. So you look so much younger. You see, that's what I did. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Bernice Purcell, who will moderate our then and now panel of students. And Dr. Purcell is a member of the class of 1985, and she's been working at Holy Family for 35 years. And she most recently led the university's reaccreditation of the Middle States Commission on higher education in 2021. And she currently serves as Director of University Assessment. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Purcell.
Thank you, Linda. It is my pleasure to host our Then and Now panel discussion. As you have heard, Holy Family has changed so much since its founding in 1954. From the first class of 13 graduates in 1958 to graduating nearly 1,000 students this year, the university is a dynamic institution that has remained rooted to its original purpose of offering a high quality, affordable, personalized, and value-centered education in the firm tradition of Catholic higher education. For members of the class of 1973, here are a few memories you may remember as students. In December of '68, Cardinal Kroll dedicated the library. In January of '71, Holy Family's athletic teams were officially named the Tigers. In September of '71, male students were accepted for the first time, and the nursing department commenced its program, all of whom we are recognizing today. With those things in mind, let's begin our panel discussion with students who walk the halls, Holy Family Hall, in 2023. Today's panelists include Amelia Millie Cortez of 24, Addie Dolan, class of 2024, Sophia Paz, class of 2025, and Julian Stewart, class of 2025. And I am grateful to them for spending their Saturday afternoon with us. Please give them a warm welcome. As we move through the presentation, we will have some questions for our audience. We encourage everyone's participation, but please be respectful of time so everyone can speak and for us to still have time for our class photos and mingling before the 5 o'clock Alumni Memorial Mass, in which Sophia and Julian will be providing music for us. And Julie, keep me on time. Okay, now, starting with Julian. Please introduce yourself with your major, class year, and student activities.
So hi, Ian Stewart, and I'm class of 25. Sorry, I thought it was 26, so I was like, well. I'm a math major going into my second year here. I didn't actually know I was going to be a math major because I was studying at Bucks Community College for a few semesters, and I was actually studying like pre-med to go into medical school. And when I had to take anatomy after my first medical class, no, that's not why. So I had to take anatomy, but to get into anatomy, I had to take college algebra. And when I was taking algebra over the summer, I realized I was doing problem solving and math problems better. I remember specifically it was doing division of polynomials, if anybody knows what that is. I realized, I think I actually like doing math better, so that's when I switched my major. And I didn't finish at Bucks before I came here. I just transferred the 3 semesters I had and came here. And it's been a real difference because when I got here, I realized that the teachers and staff really like to work with you and they actually care to see you succeed. And I think part of it is being a smaller institution, whereas the larger ones are more mass-produced. They just want you in and out, but I feel like here there's a real sense of community and belonging here, so that's something I appreciate. I really enjoy the challenge of, doing mathematics, advanced math classes and such. I find that it's really satisfying, to take up the challenge of, it takes really long to do math problems. And I also find that just doing so, you find that the problem solving skills you learn are applicable in everyday life. There's so many problems that come up in different fields and even in your day-to-day life that you can use, advanced mathematics to do. So my plans after this, to go to grad school for mathematics. I'd love to get the UPenn if I could. I want to do doctorate and postdoc there, and then eventually get into like advanced robotics and AI. So that's what like mathematics is really important, but also like computer science, and they kind of go hand in hand. So that's the long term, 9 or 10 years from now. I'd love to be into like AI and robotics and things like that. Other than that, some of the activities I do here now is a lot of involvement with campus ministry. The cans here at Daily Masses here at 1 o'clock. So just chanting and plain chant the antiphons and the gospel acclamations, because it's a lower mass and we won't use a lot of instruments for that. But also for Stations of the Cross that we had here a little while ago, last semester, I was able to chant the Stabat Mater by the Stations of the Mother on that one, as we processed around with the cross doing the stations and such. What else? So today, Sophia and I will be doing the music for that as well. She'll be singing most of it, and I'll be in violin for that. And then next week, when Bill Monahan is here for the Massive Joyful Celebration, he'll be leading on piano, there'll be a choir, and I'll be back and forth with the choir and violin parts. We've kind of worked out that. So I have a lot of involvement with campus ministry here, and I do a lot of music ministry outside of here as well with different Catholic parishes. So it was a great opportunity when I found out there was Mass here that I would be able to just expand that to here, and it's been really rewarding so far. So I thank God for the opportunity, and just like to see where it goes from here.
So my question was, why did I choose Holy Family? Which is always an interesting story because I am an out-of-state student from Louisiana. I am from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. All of my family is there. My dad is actually from Venezuela. So growing up in Louisiana, I chose Holy Family mainly because I knew I wanted to go out of state. It's a little interesting because my mom actually works for LSU in Louisiana. So it's like, why would you choose another university? But I really wanted that smaller, more personal feel, and Holy Family really was able to provide that for me. I chose Holy Family very blindly. I had 3 options. It was a school in New York, a school in Boston, and a school in Philly. And I chose Holy Family very blindly, came here on first day of orientation, and I knew it was my right decision. So.
And Sophia, could you tell us, introduce yourself by your name, your major, and your year?
Yeah, so my name is Sophia Paz. I'm class of 2025, and I'm a sports management and marketing major. Just a little backstory besides that I'm from Louisiana, as I work in the student engagement office, and I produce a lot of our content for like our social media pages and stuff like that. I'm also known to walk around with the mascot a lot, so if you see a lot of tigers on me, that is why. And then I'm also the current student body president for SGA, so that's really exciting.
Hi, so my name's Abby Dolan. I'm a nursing major, and I'm the class of 2024. For what I'm involved with on campus, I'm the president of the Habitat for Humanity Club. I'm part of the Student Nurses Association, part of the Honors Association, and help out with a lot of any events we have going on.
She wants to say more. Good.
My name is Amelia, but I go by Millie. I'm a biology major on a physician assistant track. I'm class of 2024, and my question was, were there any faculty or staff members that impacted your life here at Holy Family? For me, yes. I have 2 people in mind, actually. One's Julie. I'm going to tear up. She helped me with this job and making me more interactive in the school, and also being part of Res Life and all that. Like, I'm more interactive in school and meeting new people and getting more opportunity. And I have another person, Joe Green. He's part of Res Life as well. He's the director, and he helped me with everything I need and moving my steps forward or being a bigger person. But yeah.
And a little audience participation here. Would anybody in the audience like to share some activities that you participated in when you were a student?
Oh, I'll start.
Oh,
Nobody else is gonna do it.
Kathy Myers with the mic.
Okay, I'm class of 73, did you know? Anyway, I was a biology major, and my experience was that I flunked calculus.
I felt that.
First year, we had Alan C. Becker as he was a doctor, Alan C. Becker from King's College, and he would start at the class at the top of the blackboard, start there in the end of the class, and at the bottom of the blackboard. And I dutifully copied everything he wrote down on the board. I still flunked. So, as you speak about a family, this is what this is. Sister Grace took us under, yep, and I earned a B in calculus in my junior year. But I have not left Holy Family. I had to move in 2020. But I've been back here forever for everything. I was part of the president of the Parents Association. And I ran many bingos with my friends, and we made a lot of money for the school, almost $250,000 in the course of about 20 years. So I've never left the school, so I'm not a stranger here. I think, why don't you do it? Come on. There she goes.
The friendships that you make here is just as important as the education. It is a family. We were all sitting and talking today on how each of us have impacted some of our lives with work, with family, and they're the things that you're going to remember as much as your education.
And a trip to Hawaii.
And a trip to Hawaii.
Went to Hawaii.
Hawaii, congratulations.
Anyone else? Share some activities you're involved in? Like here, anyone here to Tri-Light or Familon yearbook? Anyone contribute to the yearbook on our table
Oh,
here?
come on, Darcy.
Here we go.
I really tried to stay in the background.
Today.
Not allowed today. Okay, so, yeah, I was on Twilight, and myself and Sally Babylon were co-editors of Twilight. And I didn't remember this until I was sitting here. And myself and Sonora Hines, I don't know what year we were. Yeah. But we decided at some point, maybe our sophomore year, to be very clever. And we wrote a column in the newsletter, in the newspaper every year, every issue, called Born on Your Side. And we were very rebellious, and I can't remember, we're very proud of ourselves. Okay.
Anyone else want to share? Oh, got one more here. Violet was next.
I just have a question for Julian. 50 years ago, when I was here, there were 3 of us, and we had some very interesting encounters because they didn't know what to do with men. How do you manage that in 15 years after us?
So, I mean, there's a lot more men in town. I know you only see me here now. So, I mean, there's a whole like men's track team, men's soccer team, with a lot of male professors here. So it's not. There's something else. Lacrosse, I think, too. Soccer, basketball. Yeah, they have like men's sports teams, so there's a lot more guys living on campus too. You know, they do have some dorms here, and there's a
We
lot
didn't have
more.
bathrooms.
Yeah. And, you know, I remember in the main building, one of the professors told us that all the bathrooms, it was all female bathrooms, so literally just, because, I mean, this might be TMI, but there's no urinals in the men's rooms in the other building, because they literally just slapped the men's sign on it.
We had a choice. We could use the bathroom in the sacristy or the faculty room,
Right.
and we weren't welcomed in either one.
One of our first male graduates, does he live and breathe, right? Thank you, Rev. There you go, Violet. Tell us about your activities.
I
graduated in 71. I would like to tell you, my husband sent me to college because we were not having any children. So I was 10 years older than all my classmates that came full-time. And I was on the government student council, and you may not be surprised what the big issue was. And this is like, in the 67, 68 years. We wanted to wear slacks.
And I believe your work paid off because they rewrote the charter
They
so
did.
our students could wear pants. Yes, you're not there. Yes.
No jeans.
No
No
jeans.
jeans.
No
No
jeans,
jeans.
but no
jeans.
jeans.
Slacks.
I just wanted to bring up a couple things that I remember. And one of them was, you remember when we first came, we had to wear something called dinks?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't, do they still have that?
I don't know what that is.
What is that?
Sailors hat.
Oh, no.
They should reinstitute those.
Freshman year.
Well, they had something called, you had to wear, it was capping. It was something where you had to
Wore the
wear
gown.
your.
And you got gloves.
Yeah.
It was tassel turning day.
It was.
Honors convocation.
It was
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
it was right in the beginning of the year, where you had to wear, like a graduation gown, a black gown, and you had a hat, and then, yeah, I don't know.
Every year you turned your tassel a quarter until you graduated.
Oh. I can just keep on.
No, I had a bit one too.
But I think the distinct was what you got in your freshman year.
Yes.
And then you got your blazer, the white blazer, that was your sophomore year, right? For a blazer.
Yes.
I'm looking at the 63 grads over there who are celebrating their 60th anniversary with us.
My white blazer.
Yeah, the dink and the blazer.
Yeah, she still got their blazer.
I think tell us a little bit about your blazer.
It's beautiful. It's wool. I had it dry cleaned and it lasted. There's no holes, no holes. It's white with blue piping and the Holy Family crest.
Remember, and what you're wearing.
Maybe next time I come over.
Thank you. All right, sister. Here we go. Be good.
I want to thank Julie. One of the things that Julie doesn't mention is she was a Tiger. Yes, God, for many years. I'm Sister Maria. I graduated in '88, but I didn't go for all 4 full years. We went on Saturdays. I was a biology major. Yes. Barely made it under the wire. But and because you were studying and teaching or studying and doing something else, and as I had come into the community in '72. But there's several things. I want to thank Kathy. We are on the Greens property. The Greens property, maybe you remember it. And the only thing left is the Shepherd's Fold. And I was, and the other thing was my aunt, Sister Loretta, used to teach chemistry. And she, again, was one of those who weeded out the nurses. And she was very strict, I actually audited her class before I took it. And I wasn't a nurse. I audited her, one of her classes. But one of the things that I used to do is, remember where the old canteen was?
Yeah.
Okay? The smell of French fries and the smell of everything. I used to go down there and I'd sit in the corner and all the students, they thought I was Sister Loretta. So I had very few friends, because they thought, but she gave me her card to go eat French fries.
I'm gonna throw a wild card here. Does anyone remember your favorite food from the canteen? Besides French fries. Cabbage rolls? Cabbage rolls.
When we came, we had to learn one phrase in Polish. Daj mi proszę kawę. I want my coffee. Oh, yeah. Two gals in the cafeteria.
Our class rings were beautiful. We had probably inexpensive opals in them. And, there were all kinds of lore about, soaking your ring in oil and that would bring out the color of the opal, and you're hoping the stone didn't crack. Some of my classmates have, gotten replacement stones in the rings. But I was glad that we had one that was so distinctive, because I think after that, I don't know when after that, you could get any color stone you wanted. And, this was a distinctive ring. People could recognize you even if they didn't know you, that you went to Holy Family. So that was a very nice thing that
Confirm that I have my blue class ring on today, class 25. Hi, my name is Faith, and I'm 50 years today. I went here to Holy Family my freshman year and my senior year. I was able to come back. I was also part-time. We started right with the group I was with. We were teachers, and Archdiocese needed teachers at the time. So what we had to do was get out there early. I got my first job for teaching on my 19th birthday. So my sophomore and junior year in college, I was teaching at Mother Divine Grace in Fort Richmond. I was able to come back senior year with a hero scholarship. My dad had been a fireman and had a service-connected disability. I was able to come back that year full time. And it was very busy my senior year, trying to get everything in. Even that Spanish, I swore would be the last thing I ever took was. So that was right before graduation. I remember going to Sister and saying, I have my announcements. Should I send them out? And she said, well, wait till finals. But talking about friends though before, friends are wonderful when you get to meet friends when you're involved with people like that. So for my first summer after high school, full year, freshman year, summer after that, I was here with a group of friends that we're still friends today. We have our own little sorority, and I couldn't talk any of them to coming with me today. But some graduated a couple years later, so they think they're younger. Some graduated, some are still working on it.
They must have flown
But yeah, there's friendship is one of the big things here. Thank you.
Bernice, do we have any other questions lined up for you?
Yes, we do. Sophia's already told us why she decided to come here. I'd like to hear from the other students why each of them came. And we'll start with Abby, then do Millie and Julian.
So I actually grew up in the area right nearby here. So that was kind of part of why I decided to look at Holy Family. And my mom actually was a graduate of here in, I'm not sure what year. 92. But so she came here, and then I grew up in the area, and I like the idea of going to a smaller school rather than a bigger school. At first, I wasn't sure, did I want to stay home? Did I want to go somewhere else? I ended up really liking staying nearby and going to the smaller school. It worked out really well.
I chose Holy Family because I did dual enrollment classes, so college courses in high school with Holy Family. So taking the college courses, was able to do that, get the feel of Holy Family. And then I did orientation and came to open house with my mom, and I just love how the professors were very engaged and yeah, we want you here. We're gonna help you with the career you want. Give us the goal and we're gonna make it work for you. So my mom was like, yeah, this is really fun. But I got a sense of big schools, and I was I went to Temple's open house and I couldn't even find my way around or anything. I was just lost, and I felt like a little fish in a big shark tank. So I chose here because it's the small community and everyone knows everyone and just feels like family. So that's why I chose Holy Family.
And for me, I was still at Bucks kind of deciding where I would go for my undergrad. And I chose Holy Family partially because it's a smaller, more focused campus, but also, like everyone said, I really don't I feel like when you go to university, you should really be focused on your education. I notice a lot of the other colleges, like as a math student, you know, I know Drexel is probably more available, like more oriented toward math, but I've known Drexel students who are like rowdy party animals, and I just feel like that takes so much away from your education. And I was becoming more religious at the time, so I feel like coming to a Catholic institution would give me more of that religious environment I was looking for, and also just, you know, I know they don't really permit that kind of wild party stuff that the universities are notorious for, so I knew I would be able to really focus on my education, so make good decisions.
And I have another question for the panel. Show of hands, are any of you the first in your family to attend college? Okay, could you share with us what that means to you and your family?
So I'm the first in my family, actually, my dad's daughters to graduate even high school. So I'm first gen for high school graduate as well, and then for college, none of my siblings or anything, and not even my parents went to high school. My mom graduated, college. My mom graduated high school. She did like a trade program to become like to do medical records, but that's as far as she went. But yeah, first gen.
Also first gen, I'm laughing because I was telling a friend a little while ago, my family was the vegan dysfunction. So basically being the first one to go to college was really a big step for the whole family, you know, and it wasn't really received that well, but you know, I don't have anything to lose.
And just putting it out there, I'm also a first-gen student. Yeah. And Dr. Prisco is raising her hand in back because she is first-gen. And could anybody else who's first-gen?
So I have a riddle. Some of you may have heard it. So you can fill in the blank for your own life. So what's the difference between an immigrant construction worker and a university president?
First gen.
Well, I came here in 1954. I don't have my parents from high school. And I have a PhD. I always say that because that's what our families came from, was immigrants, right? And all of you to see us move forward. So this is part of the work. So all of you can probably fill that in.
I'd like to ask the students if any of you have a chance to take a foreign language as an elective. There was a French and a Spanish major when I went to school here, and I was a French major.
So when I came, my first idea, I didn't want to be a doctor. I actually wanted to be a Spanish teacher. And then I met a physician, and she told me her life story, and that whole switched up, and I wanted to be a doctor. So coming into her, I actually wanted to minor in Spanish. That didn't happen. But I'm actually taking up Italian. So I'm doing Italian too right now. I finished it already, thank God I passed. But yeah, Italian was actually really great. My professor was good. She actually told me about a lot of study abroad programs. So my mindset right now is to study abroad in Italy.
And I also just finished Spanish 2 this past semester, and I had taken Spanish 2 semesters in high school as well, so I was pretty familiar with it because it's mandatory to take a language elective. We were given a choice of French, Italian, Spanish, or they could start in sign language as well. I figured Spanish would be the most useful, but another interesting thing about that is that I had studied some Latin before because I considered Christian at some point, but it really gives you an advantage. Like when you do about a year's worth of Latin going into Spanish, the words are all really similar. So.
My head nodding here. Did anyone else have to take Latin when you were here?
High school.
Down, I can transcribe pretty well. I said if it's written down, I can transcribe pretty well, but I can't hear fast enough for Spanish.
Something interesting, when I was a student here, language at the second level, intermediate level was still required. And I took German in high school, so ich spreche Deutsch. And 3 years ago, my nephew was a student here, and he asked me to join the week-long study abroad program that Holy Family was doing. And it went to Germany and Italy. I brushed up a little. And one of the tour guides told me that my German was excellent. And a little bit of brushing up, and it came back.
Wow.
As a club, we do have study abroad opportunities. Alumni are welcome. There's a 7-person trip leaving in about 2 weeks for Italy. There's a 2-week tour, and I think next year they're going to Eastern Europe or Costa Rica. So it's information on the website. If you're into traveling, try it.
Okay, starting with Abby. What is your favorite Holy Family memory or tradition?
So I would say that my favorite tradition actually hasn't happened for me yet, but something I'm looking forward to is I'm a nursing major. So the nursing pinning ceremony happens our senior year. And it's something I've seen, like some of my friends have gone through it already who are older than me. I think it's such a nice tradition. Like it's such a cute thing to see. It's a little more like personalized kind of than the big graduation, which, has its own merit. It's a great thing on its own. But the pinning ceremony is a little bit more like individualized. Like it's just your classmate that you've been with for the past 3-4 years. And I'm looking forward to that next year.
I think mine will be homecoming. Oh, we didn't have homecoming this year, but last year's homecoming was pretty fun. Yeah, homecoming is great. Everyone comes together, fun activities, and also like the breakfast. It's like when finals is coming to hit, student engagement does like a breakfast bash type thing. That's a fun tradition as well.
The plug homecoming this year is October 20th and 21st. Mark your calendars.
So I'd say my favorite event, which is newer because we just did it this year, was we did a tiger blowout for student engagement where we had 4 different inflatables, we had cotton candy machine, popcorn, snowballs, everything fun for students during finals week and everything, so they could come, be stressed, what's the difference between a 3-year-old's birthday party and college kids? Not much. But yeah, so I'd say that was my favorite event.
The one I have in mind is kind of recent still. Some of us went up to the Synod at Newman University, and it was a special panel and everything. And the catering was so good. They had some delicious like beef skewers with teriyaki or something. And, yeah, that's what my mind is. There was also the award ceremony. I got the integrity award, and I was late for it because I didn't see the email until it was like an hour afterwards. But I went there, and likewise, really good catering. They had like, yeah, exactly, beef meatballs and some really good homemade cakes and stuff. So
So we know who on this panel is the future foodie. We'll talk afterwards. Okay, audience, does anyone to share what your favorite activities looked like when you were a student? Any events that you really resounded with?
Christmas Rose.
Christmas Rose. You want to tell us about Christmas Rose, Carol?
Christmas Rose, I have to remember, but I knew I really liked it. And I know the students did like some kind of soups and sticks and things like that. It was really nice. Singing, just different things, and they kind of brought everything. We dressed up, and it was right, I think it was the beginning of December, right before the holidays. It
was always on December 8th.
Yeah, it was a nice activity.
I've seen the yearbook, there's some dances I think I saw, and some other traditions. Do you want to share?
Blazer Day.
Blazer Day? Good back over here.
In Blazer Day, you had to get up with your big sister who was the year ahead of you. She would put your blazer on you. And by the time we were, you got that sophomore year, but by the time we were seniors, less and less people were having the blazers.
and you had to, then once again, they put the skits on. And I just want to, this is my friend Maggie, who we were chums, totally inseparable. And we couldn't wait until Christmas Rose because at the end, the seniors all got up and sang. And here they were dismissing, and all of a sudden we realized our class never got to sing. So the two of us went tearing up and got all our classmates up to sing. But we can't remember what we sang. It was like something of a Christmas carol. Do you remember? I don't remember what we sang. Dorothy Gibbons. Do you remember?
Yeah, no, I don't.
I don't remember what the song was. Yeah.
Well, if you want to sing Jingle Bells tonight, we can absolutely.
Just to make up for it.
Oh my God, Barbara Schmidt, from class 68.
I just wanted to say about the field trips. We went to New York for a week, and we had some of the sisters came to chaperone us, but we had to take them to Brooklyn, the convent, and then we never saw them again. There was, a bunch of 21-year-old girls for the first time in New York City. That was very exciting. Plays, we did all that. 5 days.
Were you there?
I just remember dropping a sister in Brooklyn. We went to the UN with our social studies class, we went to NIH, biology meetings, get ourselves into trips. And I went on my first ski trip at Holy Family, and I skied for 40 years after that. I'm really grateful for those opportunities.
And Sophia, as SGA, you have some cool things planned for next year, right? Some cool trips?
Yes, hopefully.
You guys went to Dorney Park this year or Six Flags?
We went to Dorney Park, no, Six Flags. Six Flags? We did both. Yeah, we do both. Six Flags, Dorney Park, do skate trips, laser tag, escape rooms. Atlantic City. We'll go to King of Prussia. I think we're thinking about New York next year, so.
And I recall a spring formal, perhaps? I think Millie was putting that together.
Yeah, so part of Res Live, we did the first spring formal. It was done a long time ago, but we brought it back. It was a great turnout. I did all like the treats, like the snacks and all that, like Rice Krispie treats. We made little party favors of like pot with soy oil, lice charm. But it was like a great turnout. We raised money, enough money to like, we had to pay to get tickets, and we raised enough money to pay the DJ and actually give money to my cousin that actually decorated as well. So it was just an amazing turnout. And hopefully we continue this tradition throughout the years. So, yeah.
Okay.
Millie has already shared with us, and I'll ask the other students to do the same. Were there any faculty or staff members who made an impact on your time at Holy Family? And who and how?
So I took Anatomy and Physiology 2 with Dr. Waddell. It was his first semester teaching here. And it was like my favorite class to this day. So after I did that class with him, I eventually went back to him junior year this year. And I was a research assistant for him. So we did research on, basically the idea was the diet of black soldier flies. Which sounds really weird because a lot of my friends tell me like go to the flies when I hear about it. But it was a really cool project, and he helped me so much with that. Like we did a lot of stuff, and we got to learn a lot of things. And I ended up presenting like a poster on our research. There was an open house here at Holy Family, and then at the Assumption Conference at Salus University.
A relationship for me, definitely, since I spend so much time in the student engagement office, is definitely with one of my bosses, Jack. He's always around, and like, even if we're running an event or just, walking around on campus, he's always someone who will like listen and talk, and he's very personal with the students. So like, everybody knows him, everybody knows Jack. A lot of people think he actually goes here, he looks like a student, but yeah, definitely him, because he's just always there. And if I need somebody to just listen to, I can go up to that office.
For me, it's Professor William Warden. So last fall semester, it was his first semester teaching here, and it was his first time teaching pre-calculus because he has his doctorate in mathematics. So I had him 3 semesters in a row so far. I had him for pre-calc in the fall, calculus 1 this past semester in the spring, and I have him again for geometry coming fall semester. And I'm always in his office asking him a million different questions, like before and after class, and things that we didn't even talk about in class. I ended up borrowing one of his books. He didn't write about a book of his on the shelf on topology, if anyone's familiar with the subject. German mathematician, Swiss mathematician Leonard Euler wrote a lot on like topology and like modern calculus and such in the 1800s, I believe. So I told him I'll bring his book back eventually, but he's so busy with the semester, he said, don't worry. So my goal for the summer is to finish reading this book, and I really like him so far. You know, he's has a really good teaching style. He really goes into a lot of detail about the proofs and theorems and things. It's not just this is it, solve this problem. It really helps you really integrate everything, and he appreciates my questions and participation in everything too. And I think Father Mark too is a living legend. Honestly, he teaches the religion classes, and really a lot of passion and energy goes into his teaching. I had him for Introduction to the Gospel, and a really informative class that gives you a lot of background about the Gospels and historical things that you really wouldn't know. So, yeah, Father Mark and Professor Morgan were too.
Okay, audience, could you shout out some faculty or staff members who inspired you when you were students?
Hi, I'm Maggie. I want to give a shout out to Sister Placide, who unfortunately is not with us any longer. A lot of you are nodding your heads. She was so good to me. I think she took me on as part of a, this girl might not make it if I don't interview her. Yeah, she was really good to me. And one thing I remember is her saying, she was about this height, Maggie, you must be a teacher. Okay, I'll do that. And at one point, I was teaching, I was working at Sears on the Boulevard, you guys might remember. And she rang up Sears, and the message came through like the building manager or something came to me personally. I was just like a part-time, worker. And he said, this sister wants you to get right back to her because she needed a substitute teacher at Nazareth. And that's how I met Sister Maureen, who's not with us right now. Will she be around later, Maureen McGarry? Yeah, she was Sister Timothy at the time, but she and I were teaching mates. And a few years ago, when I won a teaching award at Penn State, I imitated her, and I said that I really wanted to be a rock star because Janis Joplin had just passed away, and I thought it would be a really cool idea. Or had just passed away. And I said that Sister Placide came to me, and she was knee-high to a grasshopper and 1 year older than God. And that's how I described her. And she was right. I give her credit for my teaching career, which I just ended. I taught for 46 years from third grade to university level, and it's just a procedures here.
Congratulations.
I heard whispers of Angela Gottschalk from this neck of the woods too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We were both, we were good, but for some reason, everybody thought we were bad because we got into mischief, not meaning to.
We got blamed.
And this is the funny story.
Yeah.
We had an older Franciscan sister come back to get a biology degree, Sister Anne Marie, remember?
Sure.
And we would be walking down the hall, and she would always say to Maggie, "Hello, Miss Godshall." And because it ended up, she looked like Miss Godshall. So one day, Miss Godshall was going around doing interviews, what your term paper was going to be about. And that had just happened that day. And she and I looked at each other, and we burst out laughing. We couldn't even tell her why, so we went and apologized to her afterwards and had explained to her. And she said, now I know why Sister said to me, we have to stop running into each other. They looked that much alike, they really did. So we just had a lot, and Dorothy Gibbons over there was one of our crew. Yeah, she's sitting there quietly, but she was bad too.
Ooh, the truth comes out.
There were 9 of us. There were 9 of us who always hung out together, and you were one of the 9. Yeah. Yeah. Good memories, Dorothy.
We weren't really that big.
No, we were fun. You know what it was? We were funny. Is what it was. We were the funny girls. Yeah.
Anyone else? Any other faculty or staff members that made a difference in your life you want to share?
I remember Sister Grace in the back department, and she was sort of a person for a while. I got to know her, and I was glad I took all her courses because it helped me in economics as I went on later. So, you know, she was really pretty good, I guess. Yeah, but at least I like Oh, I guess one thing too, it was the beginning of the computer age. Do you remember we took those courses? We went to LaSalle College because there was we didn't have a computer. So we learned the key punch warfare. Key punch. Yeah. Read our cards. Yeah. My sister was there. She'd bring the cards home to me, and if you made a mistake, you didn't know. It was really difficult when you think of it. We had to go all the way down there to do with everything.
Students, do you imagine going to school without computers?
No.
The old-fashioned ways. Does anyone remember learning a language without computers? I've seen the yearbook photos with some partitions that were put up, and then you had headphones. Fun fact we made.
Yeah, I want to mention a couple. Regina Bobel.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
so she was so glamorous, and she got married, and she talked lots of things, and I think most of us, the whole semester, all we wondered is, when is she going to get pregnant? Remember that?
I remember when she got pregnant because Claire, if you remember his name, she stood up and everybody wanted, there was going to be logic offered the next year. And we were like, well, are you going to be teaching it? And then she read to us from The Prophet, the book The Prophet. It was very popular. And it was something about parenthood. It was beautiful. And then she finished that and she announced, she told us.
Yeah, Cato Cabron, that's,
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And Sister Antoinette, Maggie, remember her?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, she was wonderful. And every time she just constantly would say to us, and then when you graduate and you go into your brain's work.
Yeah.
And
Mrs. Vaughn.
Mrs. Vaughn.
Yeah, she was cool.
She was great. She was a great teacher. Yeah, and then I also, in the dorms, she was Dean of Students.
Yeah.
She was so good to us.
Yeah.
She really, I remember that was one of the hardest things in Bellevue with Holy Family for me, that I could leave her.
Sister Lillian.
Sister Lillian, yeah. Oh, one more one. Dr. McCormick.
Yeah.
What a wonderful man. What a wonderful man. Tom McCormick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when I was here and my sister was here behind me, Joan, and then one of my other sisters came and visited us. And years later, my sister Mary came and visited us. And years later, I met him and he's like, so how's your sister Mary doing? And I mentioned her one time. I met her one time. Wonderful. Yeah, thanks for the furniture.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm actually, this is my third year, but I love Dr.
Wasn't he wonderful?
Yes. Oh, he was a joy. He was an absolute joy. And then, Mr. and Mrs. Lombardi.
Yeah.
Who could forget him and his politics?
He just passed.
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah.
I was my aunt's.
And then, the only other person that I was, Father Al, He was wonderful as our campus minister. And then Joe Stoutzenberger, who taught theology. And it was fun to sit around with him and Dr. McCormick and talk some serious. We didn't invite Dr. Lombardi to join us.
The Lombardis, I think, were one of our first alumni couples on campus. Victoria, whose wife was an alum, and she won here, and they had their wedding on campus back in the day. I forget who officiated it, but yeah, beautiful couple. They'll all be remembered at our alumni memorial mass, all the names that you got to talk about today too. Look for them. But I do want to keep tabs on time. It's about 4:18, so we'll start to wrap up, so we have time for our class photos, and then we'll give our musicians and cantor time to prepare too. So over to you, Brittany. Oh, sorry, wait.
Cheryl, I know this isn't in the script, but when I hear the stories, it's so wonderful to think of it's alive today, right? So yesterday, we started our celebration for the 50th anniversary of our school of nursing. So we had a luncheon for our faculty of nursing to honor them. And just before that, we had, so we started about the pinning ceremony. We had 93 students, nurses, getting their pins fixed. In the gymnasium were 750 with those 93 students. So again, the reminder of how important family is, right? That the children are there, the grandparents, and everyone shows up, and it's the faculty students. And then when I was sitting with 3 faculty, 2 of them talked about the fact that they had left, and they chose to come back, and they looked at each other and they said, we came back to each other. We want to be teaching together. Right? So that idea of connection still exists today. So it's wonderful to hear stories. And just to reassure you that what your memories are, hopefully those are the memories of your students as well now. Thank you. And Massive Joyful Celebration is next Thursday evening, and Archbishop Perez is going to celebrate us. So any of you would like to join us. Thank you,
Remind people like Wendy. I do want to say at the ceremony yesterday, we did acknowledge our first nursing grads who are with us today as I come up. Carol in the back, Eileen, have you guys stand up, our very first nursing grads. We are honored to we also have members of Maureen Connors has come as well, including Mrs. today. So Maureen was with us in spirit, and Charlene between from she could be with us. She lives in Arizona now. She does some work right now. So love. Now, over to you, Rick.
I'd like to take a moment to thank our current students. Let's have a round of applause for them. And I'd like to thank all of you for coming today and for keeping this tradition alive. And hopefully we'll see these students 55 years, 52 years. Thank you much.